And welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. While you've been trapped inside the house thinking about snow outside, did you happen to think about the termites possibly doing their thing inside? The termites that you see swarming in the spring and summer, yeah, they are warm weather critters, but the termites that do all the eating away at your home, they can go year-round. They can gnaw even through the winter. No one in East Tennessee, trust me on this one, does a better job of finding and stopping termites guaranteed than Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Family-owned business. I know these people. They are good folks. You will like them. Southeast Termite and Pest Control will take care of you. Call them for a termite checkup when you get the urge to check up your house. And that should be now. All right. Back with Bob, Jimmy, Chuck. We've already previewed the quarterback situation going to spring practice. In this one, I want to talk a little bit about the defensive line. Once again, we start with a grade for last year. And I'll give you a little hint here. Tennessee ranked third in the SEC in sacks last year. Pretty darn good. Ninth in rushing, so a little below average. Grade for that defensive line last year.
I gave them a B. I think they were good. And compared to Tennessee's recent defensive lines, boy, that was almost like going back to the old days. So I gave them a nice solid B. I thought they were good.
How many years did we sit here and say, well, Tennessee get more than 15 sacks? Last year, they took off. All right, Jimmy.
I'm in that B to B plus range. I ding them a little bit for the run defense because they did struggle at times with their pass defense. And most of those sacks were from defensive linemen, not from corners or linebackers blitzing. So I thought a pretty solid B or B plus.
And certainly you get pressure with your front four. That makes things a lot easier on your defensive coordinator, Chuck Cavallari.
And it sounds like it's magnanimous because I've got him with a B plus too.
All right. Then let's look at the next question. Better or worse in 2015? You're adding a lot of folks. You had a tremendous signing class. Butcher, McKenzie, Picow, I don't know how to pronounce it, Taylor, Tuttle. You've got some 4, some 5-star guys coming in there. Now, you're losing some bodies and you're hurt, but first of all, this position, better or worse?
Oh, I think not only is it going to be better, I think it could turn out to be the strength of your whole football team. I mean, in terms of what you've got in your tackles and in what you can bring with the ends. And I think you had the best recruiting for defensive line, especially tackles, in the country. So, I think the sky's the limit for this group.
Jimmy, he thinks they're going to be appreciably better. What do you think?
I think they will be appreciably better. And I think that with the incoming players that you have that Chuck's pointing out, with what Barnett and Majid did last year, they combined for over 20 sacks, which is pretty impressive. Barnett led SEC freshmen in sacks last year. Majid had about 11 or so. But I think that this group has more depth. They've got more talent. I like everything about what they're going to be able to put on the field. And really the only guy they lost of any significance was Jordan Williams.
All right. Bob, better or worse?
Oh, I think they're going to be a lot better. And the reason is how many times you get these 4- and 5-star guys and you say, boy, if they hit on him, how good are you going to be? Well, you've got enough of them that you don't even have to hit on all of them. If one of these guys is a standout, if 2 of them are standouts, so I think they're going to be a lot better. And one of the reasons is your depth. Now you can get back to actually rotating groups, and they'll be better in the second half.
Just not in spring practice. And that brings us to the big question. Right, here we go. Is spring a missed opportunity due to injuries? Because limited or out, you're looking at Barnett, O'Brien, Phillips, Vereen, Mosley, Salisbury, Hall. That's a lot of people hurt, limited or out for spring practice. Is it a wasted spring in terms of the defensive line?
No, I don't think it's a wasted spring. And the good news, it's April, it's not August. So that's going to mitigate what you miss a little bit, yes. It is a missed opportunity, but it's not one of those famous missed opportunities that you can't get back.
I should have watched oh, go ahead, sorry.
No,
I'm sorry, I knew where you were going.
So
nobody else would have, but I knew where you were going.
So I think you can make it up, but yeah, it's going to set you back a little bit.
It's a missed opportunity for certain individuals.
Right.
But as far as collectively, I think they're going to be okay. Heck, they may be able to build some more depth even with some of these guys out because there are some other players that return that haven't played that much that'll benefit from the spring. But I think of a Kyle Phillips who might be able to come in and play right away. He's going to miss the spring. I think that hurts him. So individually, yes. Overall, no.
And John, several of those guys that are out, I think you have a pretty good idea of what they can do. Maybe not all of them. So just like Jimmy said, Bob said, I think that gives you a time. It's a missed opportunity for some, but it's a great opportunity for others.
Well, everybody's going to keep their eyes on Tuttle and McKenzie. Those are the 2 big gets that everybody wanted to have in there. What you can't afford at this point, any more injuries. because you can't afford any more injuries in spring, or you really are going to run into a situation where you just don't have guys to rotate in there. One guy that I think deserves a lot of credit, I think he got a lot of credit last year, but certainly you have to feel good about that position being in the hands of Steve Stripling. Yeah. Daniel Hood, who's been on our show before, really talks up Steve Stripling, and last year, boy, he lived up to it. You can see word is that Tennessee's going to give all of their assistants a raise this year. Every single one of them. Stripling earned his, I think.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, he definitely earned his, and not only that, you had a coach there for 2 years in a row. I mean, at that position, you haven't seen that a whole lot. I think that helps with the development of those players to hear that same voice and to understand what he wants. And I think technically he's an excellent defensive line coach.
All right, very good. We're going to preview position groups like that for the next 4 weeks, for the next 3 weeks, leading up to spring practice. And then, of course, we'll have all your spring practice coverage right here on the Sports Source. Coming up in the next segment, in case you haven't heard, Tennessee's about to be a Nike school. And there are possible things that we could take from what Nike's done elsewhere and apply to Tennessee. We'll have a little fun with what might happen with Tennessee's football uniform, on the Sports Source. Going back.